welcome to this broadcast of the from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're about to watch our coverage of the ECAC Collegiate Overwatch Tournament. This was a Swiss-style bracket for ECAC with Boise State, Bay State, SCAD, and Minnesota being the Big Four Titans taking each other on and looking to take one another down. We are currently going to be viewing our third-place bronze medal matchup between Boise State and Minnesota, so a lot of action to come tonight. I'm your host, Artie Nerdybird Rain, and joining me on desk is going to be Greg Old Soul Smith. All right, so what are you excited to see? Because this isn't normal. We're actually going to be watching Overwatch 2, the first official collegiate sanctioned Overwatch 2 match to ever take place. So we get to make history tonight on this desk.
Yeah, we're really shallow into the game here, kind of coming right out of the beta. So this game is really in its rawest form. You know, we're going to see a lot of crazy cheese strats, a lot of really abused metas before anything really gets patched up or changed. So I'm just looking for interesting gameplay, honestly. And here's how the ECAC Collegiate Overwatch game will work out today. We're playing Overwatch 2, so that's very important. So there's only one tank. Best of 5, all active maps, 5v5, Control Escort, the new map taking over 2CP, Assault, aka Assault, everyone's bane of their existence, Push, and then we're going to go into Hybrid and then Control Not Played. So I'm excited to see Push. It brings a lot of changes. This is our matchup tonight between Boise State and Minnesota. Good luck to both these teams, but before we do that, we do have some tips and advice for them in the form of Doc's keys to the game, brought to us today by Drop-In Gaming. Those keys are: never take a fair fight, take fights in unexpected places, when they are unprepared, and when you can have ability to advance. Drop-In Gaming is a premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. Begin your competitive gaming journey and sign up at dropingaming.com. And we can also take a quick look at our lineups today for both these teams. They will populate at the bottom of the screen. Here in a moment, you'll be able to see the fabulous 5 players we have tonight. And our lineup is brought to you by Account Identity Trust Global Network, who delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and enables personalized customer experiences for more than 9,000 leading brands. We're about to jump into our first game on Control, which is Ilios, and this is going to be Minnesota taking on Boise State. And it is going to be Moxel coming in for our flex support tonight. We'll see who's going to be in first between them and Chosen. As far as tanks go, it's going to be Matt, Merc as well, and then Plato and Goblin coming in on our DPS. Looks like both teams are going for the standard high ground control here. We can see we got Matt, Merc coming in on that Doomfist with Asu on the Soldier, Goblin on the Genji, and Moxel on Lucio, Chosen on Ana. Pretty standard comp. Lucio's a bit broken, so we'll see how Moxel shakes up on that Lucio hero today.
The objective is now.
And that's contact. We see Minnesota is owning the site now, looking to make those points roll up.
Currently, we have Soldier just peppering down damage in this corridor. They have the Doomfist coming in to put pressure on them. We did get a great sleep from Chosen onto Poi. Unfortunately, though, Boise State has left the point, allowing it to flip. Matt Merc cannot make it there in time because of the boop. It's at 98%, and Boise State manages to flip the fight before that point converts over to Minnesota. However, it does look like Mikey will take down Maxwell, and Asu will return the favor, taking down Mikey. I do believe that Asu is actually Plato. It's just an unfortunate situation with the beta keys.
Yeah, a little sub in. Man, this UI just feels so empty having only 5 players. Do you think it feels a lot easier to move around in on the actual map?
Personally, I don't think so, because these maps definitely were made, you know, for 66, and the newer maps being even larger make it feel like there's not enough players on the field. But this game's still going through growing pains, so let's see how it works out as we have a soldier on soldier aggression happening, and Mikey goes down.
Might Merc following it up on Harchar.
Looks like we have Chosen taking out Frog. Maxwell peppering some damage in. Asu takes out Hachar. Now down the main support, we do hear a Lucio beat come off. Wasn't entirely necessary. It looks like Boise State's trying to make sure they maintain the space control and keep the side of Minnesota pushed back towards their spawns. So they don't have to take another fight towards the point. Ultra line here, double nano blade get popped from both sides. Who will be more successful as Maxwell goes down at the last second, but Boise State wins the first round here on Helios.
Score 0-1. Ready for battle.
I'm curious to see if we see Doomfist v Doomfist again. I understand that because of the way the game is currently working, Doomfist is quite broken. However, he's not the only tank that exists. Wrecking Ball is currently offline for everyone who's playing this game because there is an unfortunate disconnect glitch that people were abusing. So no Wrecking Ball for anyone, but I'm hoping we see the new Orisa as their kit is very interesting, and if utilized properly, it can be very irksome to deal with.
Orisa doesn't have a shield anymore, right?
No, she does not. She still has Fortify, and she has a spear that acts as a stun, one of the very few stuns that are left in this game between her and Brigitte. Those are the only genuine ones, and then Doomfist has a minor stun as well that can block ability. But other than that, Cassidy no longer has a stun, so I'm interested in seeing Orisa play, but right now both teams are giving us the Doomfist, and that absorbs the Doomfist ability makes their punch come across even harder to the enemy. However, it only reduces damage, it doesn't absorb all of it. You can still kill them in that process, but you have to be careful how much damage you give if you cannot take them out, as you see Frog take out Goblin.
Frog taking out Goblin is just the start of the storm, where Asu, Maxwell, and Matt Merck all reply. Kind of clearing the field, looking to get this pull onto the point. Now Boise State starts moving up percentage for this point.
Chosen takes out Frog, so there goes that Lucio player for the side of Minnesota right out the gate. This fight might be hard to pull off without that speed, as well as the amount of redditing that Lucios are now free to do. Minnesota being pushed back near that mega by their spawn door. Finally, Boise State choosing to back up. We have Goblin choosing to go with the Sojourn pick here. So we've got both the thighs and the legs coming in for the Broncos right now.
Ult charges are a bit around the board. Boise State has some, but Minnesota is looking pretty even and pretty high. Many believe if you ult first, you win first, but Minnesota's got a ways to go, trying to fight up around this 40%. Finally do take the point.
We do have Poi coming close to that Meteor Strike. Soldier almost has ult online. Mikey is trailing behind Hardchar as far as ultimate charge goes, so they're going to have a slight delay between when Nano comes online and Dragon Blade. Right now, Maxwell's going to choose to immediately pop the sound barrier to push forward with their team. Asu's going to pop the attack visor. Chosen's going to go down. Mikey goes down. Hachar gets pushed off the map by our Matt Merck on that Doomfist. A response sound barrier comes out, but it might be too little, too late, as Matt Merck is just pummeling through this front line here for Minnesota, almost pushing Soldier off the point, but manages to finish them off instead.
Asu finishes off Boshnen. Just looking to defend this point. Matt Merck goes long, takes punished for it. He's got to back up that Doomfist. A recent must pick, but it does change the composition if you want to go for that Orisa. It doesn't look like Boise State or Minnesota want to take that.
We've got Frog go down immediately, so once again, Minnesota hurting on the manpower front. We hear Dragon Blade get popped as well as Nano. It does look like Chosen popped theirs as well onto Matt Merck. Point is starting to convert, but Boise State's going to win the fight first. Let's see if they can maintain this victory. Down goes the Doomfist. Now all that's left is Frog after Soldier goes down. Frog finds Asu, but can Frog find themselves out of this fight? They will not, and they will be punished by Goblin for dwelling too long.
Punished indeed. Look at that. Frog has been totally paced out from the rest of the team here. Luckily, the Lucio can move things up pretty quickly, so we look at an overtime as they get to site just in time to prevent that 99 crossover.
We heard Goblin pop that railgun ultimate for Sojourn, looking to just kind of get those peppered shots and possibly the one-shot kill. Finds one onto Frog. Asu found one. Jar goes down to Matt Merck. And with that, Boise State close out Helios, our first map here for the ECAC third place game going in favor of the Broncos. Up next is going to be Escort. And this choice goes to Minnesota, but before that, we'll see Moxall getting their first Lucio play of the game here as far as we get to see on desk as part of the Broncos' official Overwatch 2 gameplay. Nicely done, Moxall. They've actually been dropping quite a few of these plays of the game in our chat room lately as they've been playing on the Overwatch 2 beta server, so I'm not surprised that we get to see that as our first play, highlight of the entire night. So congratulations, Moxall, on getting that play of the game. If you want an opportunity to... Oh, my apologies. The Idaho Army National Guard is a proud sponsor of the Boise State Esports, where top plays are presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time with more than 10 jobs offering $20,000 in bonuses and your degree of choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is the best team out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. They also just put on a fantastic tournament for our Idaho State Championships, which was pretty awesome, so thank you guys.
They did. It was a good time. We had a solid 2 days.
Lots of casting, lots of voices lost.
Lots of casting.
It's very warm in here.
It was very hot in here. We had a lot of people, though, and that's because that's why it got so hot. We had a huge stage, really filled up with lots of people.
All right, so we are about to jump into our second game of the series, and that is going to be hybrid. And in this case, it is going to be Minnesota getting picked map. If you were to guess, which one do you think it would be? Sorry, my apologies, Escort. If you were to guess, what map do you think they would pick?
I don't know. I really couldn't tell them to go any direction. I would say go comfort picks, honestly.
I'm going to be honest. I really want to see a team pick Blizzard World.
Oh, okay.
No one practices that map enough. I feel like Minnesota, because I've not seen enough of them as far as the ECAC games go, might be the one team that was like, let's take the advice we've heard thus far and practice a map that's not been done thus far. However, I just heard from our production we were actually going to be playing on Circuit Royale, which is a very beautiful new map added to Overwatch 2 for this Escort. I really, really hope that this time we get to see a change up in the tanks. I understand Doomfist is broken, but I want to see you play one of the other tanks. It's not as exciting when you're on Doomfist. That's just my opinion. I'm also grumpy because I miss Doomfist parkour. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to the 2 tanks in the game.
Yeah, and that's kind of how a new game is. When it's not really balanced, it almost isn't even up to the players. If they have an easy advantage somewhere, they have to be able to capitalize on that. They have to go for it.
I totally get it. It's like, okay, this is what the current meta presents us, which is this extremely broken comp. And it sometimes just is, there's no other choices. You have to go broken or go home as we get to take a look at some fantastic highlights. This is Goblin activating that Railgun ultimate here. They do find Frog. It takes a couple of shots, though. This is a one-shot, one-kill if you can land it properly with that ult fully charged, and it is deadly. I love seeing the Sojourn, but if we're going to run the Doomfist again, I still want to see that 3-piece combo that I talked to you about earlier, which is the thighs, the legs, and the wings. So I want to see someone pull out the Mercy, and then I want to see that Soldier and the Sojourn coming in for the legs and thighs, of course. But, you know, if you don't want to go with both of them, I totally understand. It'll just break my heart here on desk.
Moving towards that bronze cup here, that bronze trophy placement. Boise State taking the first point. The second one is really important. It puts them in a match point position, which just changes the gameplay style and the feel as we keep moving forward.
And I do believe we have Matt Merck swapping out, and in their place is going to be Kel picking up that mantle of the one tank we have here. Interested to see if we see one of the older, quote-unquote, what would have been called a flex tank for Overwatch 1 coming in for Overwatch 2. As I've been told that D.Va is pretty busted as well. I do enjoy playing her, but not everyone likes playing her in Overwatch 2 because no one liked playing her in Overwatch 1. But Kellen McGurkin is that D.Va warlord. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'll get my wish and they'll play Orisa. Who knows? Maybe
There's a chance. There's a chance.
If he goes Doomfist, I'll just be like, okay, I get it. You want to play to win. I understand.
Now this Escort on the new circuit map should get us all warmed up for what may come next, I believe, Push, which is basically, you know, tag team Escort, Escort versus Escort without the point take. I'm looking forward to that.
And I do think I actually heard a Winston here on the attacker's side, and I believe Boise State is going to be attacking first in this. Actually, no, they probably should be on defense first if they chose. Nope, yes, I did hear a monkey, and it's Poi going with that Sigma instead. They're going with a Mei TP over high right to immediately jump onto this payload as opposed to waiting in that main corridor. Nicely done. We see Harchar go down to Goblin's turrets immediately. Goblin just peppering a lot of damage from his backline. Now he has to push forward. They're going to pinch them off and force them away from that payload. Chosen will go down to Poi. Frog goes down and Poi goes down. Asu and Kelbold picking up a 1 apiece.
Asu picking up a second one. What a jump on him there. Minnesota now 3 down, slowly queuing some people in, but they're staggered as Mikey is low health. One has not queued, and Frog only just got back. They're doing pretty solid here. Boise State's ult charge is not looking fantastic as we get a switch in. It looks like Goblin is considering a little change here. We'll like to see how that shakes things up.
All right, so the Bassi is quite different. They no longer have a self-heal. They have a mini grenade that has quite the long cooldown time, but they also can go into tank formation immediately. It does not shoot any sort of rockets or grenades. It's just rapid fire like you were being in turret mode Bastion, but now you have wheels, and they immediately punish that Bassi. Mikey picking up Kel as well, and I do not know how to say that soldier's name, taking out Asu. Bishonen?
Yeah, I think it's Bishonen.
Okay, cool. Mikey choosing to stay around the payload for a little bit, now backing up to take that high ground position. Maxall looking for an opportunity to poke in some damage. Kel has finally returned to the fight. Important to remember that Monkey once used to have a very weak barrier. Now it can take a disgusting amount of damage. We see Kel jump in. Also hear the Bastion from Goblin peppering in some damage, but Goblin goes down. Asu gets taken out as well. Genji pushed onto Chosen. Maxall finds Mikey, but Chosen's taken out by Bushonen immediately. Just the soldier roll is all they needed there. Now Goblin swapping off of that Bassi over to the Widowmaker.
Yeah, but Shonen kind of coming out and taking 2 kills is what's gotten them the point twice now. Being able to move it back, can't quite get around this building here. It's a difficult point with both upfront play and some deep play there. You kind of have to have the entire comp ready on site to be able to take care of this push. So Boise State's going to have some issue, and they've got a minute and 40 to resolve it to get around here. Just those 100 seconds to try to make it to the next point. See that gravitic flux of some kind coming out.
Does find Goblin. Unfortunately, Maxwell did not have beat online for that. Chosen goes down as well. Kel does have their Primal Rage online. Asu picks up Mikey. We also should have... No, Nano was popped during that, so there will be no follow-up Nano. It was an attempt on engage, but because of that graphitic flux, the entire backline for Boise State just got eviscerated. Kel choosing to hang on to that Primal will play out in their favor in the next fight, but Nano Blade's online, so Maxwell better be ready with that beat.
Kel also has the Monkey online. Hopefully they can make one solid push here with some help from Asu. Oh, and Goblin looking to just get some damage in so they can move up to the point. Once everyone's there, trying to move it across this spot. Only 50 seconds to do so. They're looking in some serious danger here as it slowly walks back.
And there goes the beat from Maxwell too early as the Nano Blades come online from Mikey. That comes down to making sure you're tracking those ultimates because that beat fades very fast. So Mikey picks up 2, Bushonen picks up 2 as well, and the Broncos are sent back towards their spawn. It's very important as that flex support on the Lucio play there to be tracking ultimates so you know what you need to have ready online to counter them, and popping that too early was a death sentence for the Broncos.
After that team wipe, Minnesota takes on a very aggressive defense, just preventing them from even getting to the spot because it's only 10 seconds left. Not enough for a whole team fight. All they have to do is slow time.
Primal gets popped. Attack visor gets popped. Neither have found anybody just yet. Broncos securing their place in the payload, but they pushed a little bit too far forward. Kel having to backtrack a bit. Does get a touch. Mikey's in hot water. Boy goes down. Goblin goes down to the soldier. Now Lucio standing alone on point. Frog goes down. The Broncos trying to stall this one out. Soldier drops and payload finally hits that first checkpoint.
An extra 2:30 on the clock. They're running at the absolute minimum. If Minnesota does any better on the flip, they could have some overtime issues, meaning they've really got to get to the end here, pushing the payload forward under fire. Kel
is in deep. He's all the way by point 3 right now, pushing back Minnesota to their spawn. This can be a risky situation. We did see Frog also take out Asu here. This corridor tends to be where things start to get a little bit difficult because the high ground positioning is heavily in favor of the defending team. Boise State forced to back up. We hear the gravitic flux gets popped. Doesn't pick up anybody, but we do have someone who is antied on the side of the Broncos right now, so they got to be careful.
Axel doing some Moira work. We see Asu take one onto Mikey. To bring out the fire hose from Maxwell. Seeing some other ults on the board. Doing some serious damage, really making the pushes. Might be a much easier next point. They're right on top of it. Looking to cash in with an extra minute 20 as they move on to point 3.
Broncos popped 3 ults to secure that fight, and while the side of Minnesota only popped that Nano, that could be a death sentence for this next fight. They will have that Primal and the Soldier roll online, but the last 2 times we've seen those popped in tandem, no one found any kills during that point in time. Yes, they can be space makers, but when you're just pushing people back around a corner, I'm not sure if that'll be enough. We do see Ace who's going to pick up Bushonen. Boise State trying to get this high ground control before the side of Minnesota can.
Asu making some good intimidation fire here.
Kel go for the engage. They get booed back immediately by Frog on that Lucio. Asu still has a visor up, but there's not enough of an opportunity here with enough line of sight to make it work. Now they do have Blade online as well as Beak or Fiddick and Soldier ult coming on soon. So Mikey uses that B2 engage, taking out Chosen and Maxall, and Goblin goes down as well. Broncos down 3. This is a reset as Asu falls to Bushonen immediately. Mikey trying to get Kel down. Kel is at very little health. Frog closes out that kill.
So tight here. Only minute 20, but they're very close to the last point. Minnesota bringing in their third ult charge here. Boise State's got an uphill battle to fight here, quite literally.
Asu's going to choose to pop there. Maxall actually is going to find Frog while Asu is using their attack visor. Goblins rotated into the back line here of Minnesota. Kel jumps in to help them. They find two with Maxall's help. Poi goes down. Mikey goes down to Asu as well. Now the payload closing in on that last checkpoint. Lucio Frog comes in to try and stall it out for a little bit. Maxall pops the coalescence and secures the Boise State Broncos, finding point 3 with 41 seconds left on that time bank. Not as much as they would like to see.
No, definitely not, but it's all right. If they can play an excellent defense here, then it doesn't matter how much time they had in the bank because it won't get to overtime. And that will move them into a match point as we look towards push. But that's a ways out first. They've got to actually play that excellent defense.
You can see this great wraparound play from Goblin with Maxall coming in as well, and then Kel for the follow-up. This coastline wrap is very strong if you can capitalize on the tempo that your team can give you and maintain that space control. Let's see if that is done back to the Broncos or if they don't even let Minnesota get close to the third point.
Maxall playing the craziest healer right here as he got player of the game last time and just got a 4K to move him into the last point.
Oh, Moira's busted.
Definitely. All right, same map, different angle. Let's see what kind of defense the Boise State has ready. See if we can prevent this point as well as Minnesota did.
I believe I hear a Reinhardt coming out from Kel. Yes, we do. They're going to take this fight right on the payload. It does look like we have Goblin once again locking it in on that Bassi. Let's see if they stay alive a little bit longer than the last 3 times we saw them on that Bastion. 3 fights in a row, they were just instantly taken out. We'll have to wait and see. This is a bold move from the Broncos, doing Bastion twice. He can be very powerful, but you have to play him right for it to work out in your favor. Initial fire strike, I don't think landed on anyone. The secondary looks like it might have forked. No, it did not, but Kel doing some swing damage. Has to go against Poi on that Doomfist. Gets pushed back off the high ground. Their team still maintaining footing, though, as Anti goes out onto the front line for Minnesota.
Man, Kel being pushed hard here, doing a good job being the shield against the 3 up top, but Bishonen's going to take one onto Goblin. The rest of the team's not looking fantastic as Bishonen takes another one onto Asu, and it's low health all around. Man, Boise State is just being pushed back here. Chosen and Maxall struggling to keep themselves up. Maxall doing well. Bishonen takes one onto Kel finally. It's a slow stagger though, so they might have time to make it back. Poi was so close to going down, but Bishonen takes it onto Maxall.
Goblin and Chosen have no choice but to back up. They cannot take a 2v5. Maxall staggered themselves quite hard, so it's going to be a little bit before Boise State can engage. They do have the opportunity to take this corner space to maintain positioning, but Asu on that low ground might not be the best idea without their main support and main tank in front of them. We'll have to see. They're managing to stay alive. I think Kel has finally returned to this fight. Maxall's going to push forward. Oh, and there was a swap. Kel is now on that Doomfist as opposed to being on the Reinhardt.
Hopefully that's the comp change that they need as they stand in this leverage point. Minnesota might be facing some of the same trouble the Boise State did around this corner. Hopefully Boise State can get the hold on that leverage angle that Minnesota did. Really slow things down here because they've got to do it for several more, maybe 6 more team fights in order to prevent this point. But it looks like Minnesota's got the space to take it nice and smooth here.
Asu's going to go down, and Minnesota's going to get that first checkpoint with a lot of time on the clock if they lock it down here. We hear Feet, Coalescence, Nano, Attack Visor, all get dropped. So 3 from Minnesota coming forward and 2 from Boise, no, 3 from Boise State as well getting dropped. It looks like the ones who come out on top of this one is going to be Minnesota as they take down 3 of the Broncos.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
4 minutes on the clock. You can see that Minnesota's pushing forward. They've identified where Chosen is at. One of their teammates used that new communications wheel to mark their positioning.
Meteor strike.
Now we hear the Meteor Strike come out from Boy. I do believe this is just to get out of this play. Unfortunately, they tried to stay alive a little bit too long and stayed in. That might be their undoing. It will be as Kel closes them out as their health bar was extremely low after landing from Meteor Strike.
Goblin just doing some extra damage work here. Asu goes in deep with the knives. Gets a lot of money off as Asu and Goblin each take their one. Pushing him back around this corner with an aggressive defense just to leave the payload absolutely unmanned.
In this next fight, we're going to have Nano as well as Beat almost online for the side of Minnesota. Boise State's going to have that Meteor Strike. Maxwell will be awfully close to Coalescence. They might be able to get it during the mid-fight and just help clean things up or stabilize their team, depending on whether or not we see that Nano popped by her char.
Meteor strike.
We hear Meteor Strike, we hear Beat, we hear Nano. Minnesota popping both their support ults to survive during that Meteor Strike. Kachar's going to find Goblin. Maxwell's going to pick up one. Goblin will pick up one as well. Frog will go down. Chosen will go down. Trades happening on both sides. The sustain, though, might be more in the Broncos' favors. Maxwell and Kel both pick up one apiece.
Setting up for the next team fight.
It looks like we might have seen the same mistake the Broncos made earlier, which is committing 3 ults and both being 2 of them being that support ultimate. That Beat being dropped when the next fight meant that Asu was going to get a free Nano Blade is not something you want to see. I understand it's a newer game, but tracking ults is still just as important. We see one of our Broncos get insanely low. Asu finds Mikey. The next fight has begun. Genji barely gets out by the skin of their teeth there for the Broncos, as there is some Doomfist on Doomfist aggression happening. Which Doom will come out on top? I think it might be Kel, as that Doom has 1 health left.
A good jump on him just with a couple of shotgun pushes from afar. A nice setup kill. Low health, though, is going to flee to the Moira. A good setup. Boise State looking at 3 ults and a charge together for a 4th one. Going to start taking that assail. They have walked this all the way down the hill, though, getting close to point 1.
Asu still has that Nano online. Well, sorry, Chosen has Nano. Asu still has Dragon Blade. Goblin has ult as well. All 3 ults get popped yet again by the Broncos. May not be the best idea because the follow-up fight means that all of the Minnesota players are going to have their ults online, and the Broncos will only be able to respond with a Meteor Strike when it comes online after the fight has already begun. Hopefully Maxwell will get another ultimate online by mid-fight, but by then it might be too little too late.
Frog continues to push just with a little bit of peppering damage. Not going to get himself totally staggered, which is good. Minnesota coming in strong now. They've got 3 ults online, and Boise State, like you're saying, does not. They're looking to get this 2 here from Maxwell and Kel, but Goblin takes one on a Poi, and Frog returns onto Asu. Kel just now waking up, trying to get people off the point. Goblin's kind of left alone here to take care of it. Backups here. Maxwell doing great damage, takes 2 alongside Kel. Looking for 1 more on the retreat as they try to get ready for the next team fight, and that payload is just being walked right down the hill here.
Minnesota is looking like they're hurting on that time bank front. Kel does get an anti, manages to live, gets out of the fight. It's getting healed up by Maxwell. We hear Meteor Strike, Dragon Blade, and Nano and Beat all get drops from...
30 seconds remaining.
Well, Meteor Strike was from Kel, but the rest were all from Minnesota. They find 2. Can they find a couple more? It's Chosen and Kel both gone down. Goblin peppering some damage on the backline. Maxwell goes down to Poi. It is now just Goblin and Asu left standing. They have no choice but to retreat, and instead Goblin and Maxwell are both going to go down.
That payload walking back up. They've only got 10 seconds. If they can provide the pressure, there's a chance we go into an overtime here.
It looks like Minnesota's going to hold the doors here as much as they can, peppering a lot of damage forward. Goblin almost has their ultimate online, as well as Chosen with another nano. We could switch that we need. Meteor Strike lands, doesn't find anybody. Goblin goes down to Mikey. Mikey goes down to Goblin. Frog goes down to Kel. Right now, it looks like Minnesota might have secured this point, and they do.
Asu was so close under the poi there, which would have been a nice push back, but watching that doorway, they just had the right angles to provide the aggression onto that from the open space. So it's going to go into the house here for the line between point 2 and the finish on point 3. A minute 10 in the bank. Boise State's going to have to bring them to a full stop if they want to get to match point. Otherwise, we're back to a nice tie.
Looks like Kel and Goblin are going for this coastline wraparound to try and get a decent flank. They pick up 3 here, but Kel takes too much damage as 4 of the members were actually there, so Mikey will finish out Kel. Frog goes down, Asu goes down, Chosen takes out Mikey, so we're tied as far as manpower goes, but we've got Goblin kind of out of the fight as Maxall goes down. They're trying to get back into a better position here for the next one as the payload's just getting pushed by Poi.
And Minnesota just dropped beneath Boise State's time, so even if Minnesota makes it all the way to the end, which it looks like they have a good, if not great, chance to do so, are going to be at a time disadvantage when we get into that overtime.
Asu almost takes a dip off the map. They managed to use that wall climb ability to get back up. Kel looking to get some damage here on the back line, is forced to go back towards the coast. That payload is backing up. 10 seconds left on the clock. Minnesota needs to start getting ready to expect a touch on point. Nano comes out. Blade comes out. Beat comes out. Mikey goes down to Asu's Nano Blade. We still have Nano online for the side of Minnesota. The beat has fully expired as Bushonen goes down.
Ooh, just a few on point here. Kel doing a great job taking care of things. Trying to just wedge people off the point. Poise so close. Very low. They finally take him. The stagger onto this point is rough, and the overtime is finally defeated. Boise State able to come in with the defense right there in the last leg, brings it to a 2-0.
All right, so that is going to close out our payload escort map for this series. Maxall's going to come in clutch with the play of the game for this one. Most likely a Coalescence double kill, because I don't think we saw one on the ditch pick up 2 people. If there's 1, there's 2. I don't think they get the 3rd here. Yes, they'll get the 3rd using their orb instead, but that's nicely done. Congratulations, Maxall, on 2 back-to-back plays of the game. You can see that we've got Mark's information here. They come from Idaho Falls, and they're majoring in computer science, so good luck. That's not an easy major by any means. So how do you like an Overwatch 2 so far?
I'm enjoying it so far. Like you're saying, there are some broken must-pick characters. Moira is absolutely ridiculous. We saw things looking rough until Boise State switched back to the Doomfist, and all of a sudden came on strong, cleaned it up. So it's obvious that there are definitely some must-picks here, and that we need to see some balance work. But it's fun to see those tactics be abused.
As far as the Broncos go, they're still very guilty of over-ulting right now. We see them pop a lot of ults in a fight. Yes, they do gain payload space, but then the response using 2, if sometimes 1 ult from the enemy team is all they need, especially with the beat being expelled quite a few times coming out from Moxel. Instead, they swapped over to the Moira. I get it, but at the end of the day, Boise still needs to work on their ult economy and ult tracking, but that comes with time. After all, it is a brand new game for everyone involved.
It definitely is, yeah. But that's something you gotta, count cards, call abilities, something that always needs to be considered, as Doc would say.
All right, you Valorant host.
Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, you can see that cheeky smile coming out from Greg. They do host our Valorant games for Esports Tower. Hopefully I'll be joining you on Dust for that sometime soon. But back to the matter at hand, and that is our Overwatch team. We are about to see a brand new game mode, which is Push, replacing the ever so hated Assault. I mean, there were some cute Assault maps, but overall, I'm glad it's gone. I hope they utilize the maps that they once had for Assault in a new way, but we'll have to wait and see. However, for now, we're going to throw it to a quick break so everyone can grab some water, and our Broncos have an opportunity to stand up, stretch those legs out, and we'll be right back here in a few moments.
Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by. Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
We're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disaster and feed those left in the cold. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
Welcome back to this broadcast from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. I'm still your host, Artie Nerdy Bird Rain, and on desk with me is going to be Greg Old Soul Smith. And hello, our beautiful production team. You're watching our coverage of the ECAC third place game between the Minnesota and the Broncos. We just closed out our second game of the series. So far, the Broncos are up by 2. So now we're going into the brand new map, replacing Assault. It is going to be Push. Have you had the opportunity to witness any of the Push gameplay just yet?
I have not, but I have gotten a brief explanation. Done my readings. It seems interesting. I'm looking forward to jump into it. The real thing, though, is that this is the first collegiate push that they're going to have to jump into with a match point mindset, if I'm correct. That's interesting because, your bank of mistakes has run dry, and you have to make sure that everything is crystal clear and on point the first time, which I don't imagine any of that is going to line up with any of this. It sounds like it'll be messy.
And one of the things that does come out of Push that was trying to be kind of avoided is kind of the steamroll that sometimes starts happening. And typically with Push, you see a lot of whomever gets control of that Push robot first, and yes, their name is Robot. Sorry, Robot. Typically actually wins out a game. So we'll have to see if that plays out and rings true here in the collegiate space as well, or if we're going to see this tug-of-war game go back and forth quite a bit. But before we get to that, we are going to bring you Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch. And those keys today are presented today by Drop In Gaming. The keys to the game are take fights in unexpected places, don't make positioning mistakes, win the 1v1s, and win fights before objectives. Drop In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who are seeking competition. Play your favorite games and win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. Begin your competitive gaming journey. Sign up at dropingaming.com. All right, so all the push maps are new. One of my I have 2 that are my favorite. The one that I'll personally call out, though, is Toronto map, because it's nice to see Canada represented there. And it is very true to Canada, in my opinion. There's a lot of sites there. Very cold. Looks very cold. We'll have to see what ends up being the pick here for Push. And it does look like this is... the name is escaping me.
Velase?
Colossus, I think, or Colossae. Yes, this is the Rome map where there's also hints at a brand new Overwatch hero in the background. You might hear fighting noises that are happening between two gladiator-style heroes in the Colosseum back behind the entire map itself. So we'll have to wait and see if either one of those characters actually gets dropped as a hero. Over time, we'll find out. You might see one of our Broncos playing them in the near future. But until then, we're going to just stick with hopefully seeing the Sojourn come out on this map. And I hope we see a change up from the Doomfist, because getting control of this robot here in that first corridor far on the right that you got to see a little bit is a little difficult with a Doomfist. However, some of the other tanks are a little bit easier to do that. We'll have to wait and see what the teams roll out on, though. It does look like Matt Merck's going with the Zarya. Poi's also going with the Zarya. So we're going to see that double bubble action. And Zarya's bubbles are a little bit different now. They can choose whether to give them to an ally or give them to themselves.
Oh.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a great change, so you can either double bubble yourself or use 2 bubbles on completely different people if you're not taking damage.
That right corridor we're talking about, the robot is already under contention. Robot is going to go live in about 3 seconds.
We have Goblin locking it on the Pharah with Maxwell on that Mercy. That standard pharmacy comp in the air can create a lot of damage and pressure outside, making it easier to gain point control here. It's currently in contest, so no one has gotten a better control of it. 3 of the Minnesota players will go down. Now they have no choice but to back up, die, or get out alive, as the Broncos are just eviscerating what is left of them, trying to find this Ana. They're almost gone. Well, find the Zarya. Poi is very low, but they have a lot of damage. Finally, Goblin and Maxwell close out that kill, so Zarya does not have any of that power. Oh, looks like Goblin hit an awkward freeze spot, but is now pushed back into the map. Looks like the one stuck on payload is going to be chosen, doing a little bit of dancing, because just like Escort, you cannot leave that robot or they will not be pushing forward. It is also affected by the number of people that are on it. However, it is totally fine to leave one person there. You just don't want to leave it unattended, or the robot will stand there and ask for assistance. Goblin is going to go down, as will Matt Merck. Maxwell's going to go down as well. Not sure if they're trying to go for a res or not. Chosen now having to battle it out for their own life. You just see Asu pick up one. Chosen's going to go down as well. That is a full reset for the Broncos, but they did get that robot first, finally being pushed back. We also have Poi hopping on that D.Va, recognizing that they can help deal with the Pharah and deal with Asu and eat Chosen's orb. So it's a great pick. Let's see if it works out in their favor.
Looks like that robot's going to start making progress onto the Minnesota side, looking to break the advantage the Boise State has. Coming in strong so far with 3, 2, 1. People on the point starting to low down as Boise State puts that pressure on.
We hear Goblin pop their ultimate rocket barrage, gets slept. D.Va took care of a little bit of it. Asu's gonna pop the attack visor. Frog goes down. Matt Merck also made the swap onto the Roadhog. I mentioned it earlier. Hog is quite busted as well. If you're looking to play the flank Hog style and just go deal with people, take a breather does so much for you now. You have so much survivability. Unless you're getting hard focused by more than one person, odds of you being taken down are slim to none. The Broncos have control yet again. Took a little bit of time to get a touch on that robot. Maxwell goes for the res on Chosen, so now Chosen's going to have to start babysitting the robot again.
Yeah, someone's got to do it. We see this robot kind of stutter in its walk over as we stray from the bot a little bit, but they can stay strong-sided as Matt Merck takes one onto Mickey. They might be looking at this first point just 5 meters away.
Maxwell has that Valk online. Goblin's getting a little bit hurt. We do hear that the payload has hit that first checkpoint, so the spawns have changed now for Minnesota. Matt Merck goes down to Soldier and Lucio. Maxwell pops the Valkyrie. D.Va pushing forward. Frog goes down. Coalescence gets popped. Chosen. Goblin's going to pick up another one. Now it looks like Broncos have smooth sailing running this corner. This area right here is very difficult to push past for a lot of teams. Let's see if the Broncos can get it out of this corridor quickly.
Chosen taking 2. Mickey in the middle is able to take one out of Asu, though. Maskell bringing Asu back into the game. Leads Boise State a full roster to protect this point with, and they're going to play aggressive with it.
We do see Bashonans decide to swap over to that Cassie. Remember, they don't have any form of stun. Instead, they have a sticky grenade. Mikey is going to go down, but Frog picked up Asu. Goblin looking to pepper damage here into this building. They have their ultimate online. We hear a whole hot go off from Matt Merck, just pushing back the enemy team at point-blank range. Goblin pops the rocket barrage, taking down Frog and dropping the spray. Of course, you got to have a little bit of an ego moment. We hear Poi drop the self-destruct, but picks up no one. There's a lot of space to hide here in Poi before they remake. Gets taken out by Goblin.
Ooh, Boise State just so close from the point, under serious contention. They've got to make one final push. Bashon and Harchar both taking pieces on Boise State, getting that robot to walk right on back to their spot. Bashon going to babysit the robot, bring it up to the team. As you see Boise State come in for this next push, 5 people back online. They're able to move in. Matt Merck coming on first. Ooh, takes one on a Bishonen, going aggressive towards him. Asu with the distance, trying to just do some damage onto Poi, prevent that block from making any progress. And there it is, looking for the take back.
Matt Merck did go down to Mikey after getting antsy. We hear Maxwell pop that Valkyrie. They go pretty low, but managed to survive. Nano goes off. Asu goes down to Poi. We hear the Nano Blade has fully come online. Maxwell just using the rest of their Guardian Angel to get out of the hot zone.
That's going to be a walk back to the push for Minnesota. Trying to make it into that first point. Change the angle Boise State has to take.
Goblin's going to go down. It might make things a little bit easier. Minnesota's not in a comfortable position. They have payload control, but their D.Va is demeched. And as they're the only tank that you have, it's very essential to keep them alive so they can remech here, because falling off the map just takes way too much time with how far that coastline is. Poi does have that mech online. Chosen pops Coalescence as their health gets extremely low, trying to just force back members of Minnesota. The point control is currently contested. Minnesota does get it, but no one's touching it.
Matt Merck taking one onto Mikey now. Boy, goes a little into low health. Mikey is taken out. Frog uses up their ult, and we see the push from Minnesota starting to come out. Bishonen takes one on the Goblin. Matt Merck replies on the Bishonen. Boy takes Maskell though. Matt Merck's ult finishing up now, but it's not quite enough. Goblin goes for a little change. We're going to see Hanzo enter the field. Chosen, taken from Poi in the full mech. It is not looking great for Boise State as Minnesota does lose one though on their walk back, and now Asu, deep in the fire, is just trying to make the damage to get this walk back out. They do get him to sleep. They've got to leave the robot to try to take care of this attack from the back here. It's not quite enough. Goblin taking 3 out in a row, kind of.
Swapping that Hanzo came in clutch. We also have Maxwell swapping over to that Zenyatta. That Discord Orb can do quite a bit. Asu has the Deadeye online. Not positive how much value they'll get out of it, because it's still Deadeye at the end of the day. We also have Nano online. It might be dropped onto D.Va just to maintain some spatial control here for the side of Minnesota. Discord is on point, so they have to get out lest they lose their mech. Goblin rotating back. Deadeye gets popped, and we do see her charge going to go down to that Deadeye, so picking up one, and then Mikey goes down to Chosen. Asu finding Frog.
Asu finding quite a bit with Goblin and Chosen as well, but Shonen's able to get one in there in the middle, but it's a total team kill onto Minnesota, letting Boise State walk slowly the push bot all the way back to the point. They're so close with only 26 seconds remaining. Almost about to take this point on and set them to the upper hand in this match point. Shonen taking one on a Goblin. Finally, the whole team back onto the point. It's seriously contended. Boise State doesn't want this to walk out with such low time.
For Minnesota, this means they basically can't be doing what they've been doing, which is kind of touch and go gameplay. They have to designate a 100% of the time babysitter for that robot, getting multiple people on to get as much time, get as much speed for that push bot as possible. They need to reach that barrier and reach that second point to get themselves in a more secure position. They take out Goblin. The staggers from Boise State not working out in their favor right now. Whole Hog and Coalescence are both popped. D.Va is discorded on payload, taking a lot of damage. Dragonblade comes out as well. 2 go down.
Minnesota dropping 4 ults to stay on this point, and it's necessary. Boise State, all they need to do is apply the pressure to effectively C9 Minnesota. Just getting them to walk off this point is all they need, but Minnesota is so close to the next tick. Goblin going to use that Hanzo ult as Chosen finds one on a Mikey. They're getting close, and we see these ults slowly ticking up, but Frog just went online. He's going to use it immediately on cooldown to try to hold this as we're deep into the overtime here. So close to the point, but the change. Ooh. The congestion of the bot. You've got to have a babysitter on it. Poi and Harchar. The Discord ult's coming out. Matt Merck goes to sleep. So far in the overtime, 2 people from each side on. It's a D-mech from the D.Va.
Deadeye gets popped, the Sombra goes down, a Char goes down, and the Broncos close out map 3 with a victory, successfully toppling Minnesota and landing their 3rd place victory. Congratulations, Boise State, on your first Overwatch 2 victory here within the ECAC Championship. Of course, there will always be more to follow, but for now, nicely done. And congratulations, Minnesota. You guys did fantastic as well. We look forward to playing against you guys in the near future. And if you want the opportunity to join the Broncos here at Boise State, we are always looking for players and talented people within production and broadcast talent. Top talent along with good grades and eligibility can earn you scholarships as well. Sign up today by visiting boisestate.edu/esports for more information. So, your first Overwatch 2 experience, how was it?
A good look into it. I feel like we had obviously every member wasn't queued up there. There's a lot of, must picks and a lot of can't picks so far, including our beloved Wrecking Ball right now. But as things get ironed out, I'm looking forward to seeing all these different character changes. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more maps, but I'm liking it so far. I like the 5v5 if I'm being honest. It makes I know, hot take. I know, I'm so sorry.
I forgive you, it's fine.
Maybe that's just the Valorant standpoint, but I appreciate how much quicker team kills come on and how hard it is to stagger an entire team just because you can hook one straggler.
That's completely fair. I just feel like right now the meta is so heavily focused on your tanks that it's grotesque, especially the survivability that some of these tanks have right now. It needs to be nerfed. Either that or they need to deepen the kits of the supports or add new supports right away so that there's more counterplay happening. Because, we saw Doomfist, D.Va, and Zarya this far, and a little bit of Reinhardt. Rein's only a little different. You get 2 Fire Strikes instead. You can cancel charge. But, yeah, Doomfist is busted. Roadhog can be pretty busted, too, if played properly. At the end of the day, it's still going through growing pains. It's exciting to see changes, but this is where we're going in the future. More Overwatch 2 gameplay. If you are looking for our Atlanta tournament in the future, here at the end of this next week, it is going to be Overwatch 1, but that is going to basically be it. That is the end of the Overwatch run here for the collegiate space. So that will be our final send-off and goodbye for that series, and this is just a taste of what's to come. It's a little hectic, a little crazy, but it'll get worked out.
Hopefully it won't take him 2 years to work it out.
All right, so now we have the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. We're going to get 3 guesses up here. Do you want to take a guess at who the first one is? Well, okay, second one.
I was going to say, I think we have got to see Goblin come out.
Yeah, I'm going to give Goblin.
Asu had a lot of name on the activity feed as well, but Maxwell is a must pick. He just absolutely owned the activity feed a lot.
There's Goblin.
Yep, there's Gob.
Try to avoid getting another DPS. It's gonna be between Kel and Matt. I'm gonna say
Bushonen.
I'm gonna say Matt. Oh, you're gonna say Bushonen? I'm gonna give it to Matt. I gotta give it to Matt.
Okay.
Let's see who the third pick is here from production, because we are just giving suggestions, and everyone knows I am horrible at trying to figure out who production picks.
Asu.
Okay, yeah, that's
Keep
two
in
in a row
mind,
together I've been bad at.
Keep in mind that's not the actual Asu, and this beautiful picture of what looks like high school Asu is not actually him. We have somebody else on the field taking his name for tonight.
Yes, because the beta keys are a pain in everyone's behind to try and get your hands on sometimes, and it doesn't work out for everyone. I did not have that issue. I got it on day 1.
Ooh.
But that's just me. However, so those are our 3 choices. Who do you think got it?
I don't know. I feel like Maxwell did provide a lot of not only kills, but just utility to the team. It seemed like every time someone was really going ham, they had the Moira right on their back, or they had the Mercy right on their back. So I would give it to Maxwell. Yeah, keep in mind this is a UI repeat of the top 3, just remembering who those top 3, where it's going to come from. But the top player himself
is actually going to be Maxwell. I was going to piggyback off of you, especially because Maxwell got 2 back-to-back plays of the game. I mean, if you see that, it's like, well, there's player of the match.
Yep.
Guaranteed almost. So congratulations, Maxwell. You are the ICCU player of the game. Idaho Central Credit Union believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. The Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game is Maxwell. Congratulations. And as we prepare to close things out today, do you have any big takeaways?
I'm looking forward to changes. I'm looking forward to it so far. I think we adapted to a game pretty quickly, but that adaptation can't end here. This is only just the beginning. Always be adapting. I love it.
All right, as we prepare to close out our matches this evening, we'll give you our top 5 plays of the game presented today by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your critical thinking skills into real time with more than 10 jobs offering $20,000 in bonuses, and your degree of choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is the best team out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuardGaming. And from all of us here at Boise State, thank you. Have a great evening. Stay safe, be kind, wear your mask, and we'll see you later. Here for the side of Minnesota. Discord is on board, so they have to get out lest they lose their mech. Goblin rotating back. Deadeye gets popped, and we do see her charge going to go down to that Deadeye, so picking up 1, and then Mikey goes down to Chosen. Azu finding Frog.
Azu finding quite a bit with Goblin and Chosen as well, but Jonan's able to get one in there in the middle, but it puts that pressure on.
We hear Goblin pop their ultimate rocket barrage, gets slept. Eva took care of a little bit of it. Azu's gonna pop the attack visor. Frog goes down. Matt Mert also made the swap onto the Roadhog. I mentioned it earlier. Hog is quite busted as well. If you're looking to play the flank Hog style and just go side of Minnesota, the beat has fully expired as Bushonen goes down.
Ooh, just you on point here. Kel doing a great job taking care of things. Trying to just wedge people off the point. Boy, so close. Very low. They finally take him.
Currently, we have Soldier just peppering down damage in this corridor. They have the Doomfist coming in to put pressure on them. We did get a great sleep from Chosen onto Poi. Unfortunately, the Boise State has left the point, allowing it to flip. Matt Mert cannot make it there in time because of the boop. It's at 98%, and Boise State manages to flip.
50 seconds to do so. They're looking at some serious danger here as it slowly walks back.
There goes the beat from Maxall too early as the nanoblades come online from Mikey. That comes down to making sure you're tracking those ultimates because that beat fades very fast. So Mikey picks